Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? Welcome back to the predictions and breakdowns. Today we're taking a look at UFC 316, Merab Dvalishvili versus Sugar Sean O'Malley 2, which is taking place on the 7th of June, 2025, starting at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be taking a look at the entire card, starting with the main event and ending with the early prelims. Thought I'd switch it up this time and just start off with the more important fights first. We're going to be taking a look at the entire card in depth. Let's get down and dirty right away. We also have the card in Newark, New Jersey. Not a bad spot to have a card. I actually like that. Now we're going to start off with the main event of the evening. Again, switching it up a little bit here. Merab Dvalishvili versus Sugar Sean O'Malley. I am taking the side of Merab Dvalishvili. I do not believe that necessarily it mattered how Sean felt. I don't think that Sean's sickness or whatever he complained about the last time is exactly going to change anything or make a big deal within the fight. Merab Dvalishvili tore apart Umar Nurmagomedov, tore apart Sean in the first fight. Went through Henry Cejudo after getting dropped in the first round and losing that first round. Beating Piotr Yan, Jose Aldo. These are very, very high-level wins for a guy like Merab Dvalishvili. Incredible chain wrestling, has cardio for days, never stops, resting heart rate of 40. Is kind of a different level of man by himself. And he's an insane Georgian fighting out of New York, has Matt Serra in his corner, has, a lot of really, really good guys from Syndicate MMA. Training with him. He has really good coaches. Sean O'Malley and the MMA lab, these guys are a little bit of at a standstill at this point. They're not really getting a whole lot of new contenders from what I can tell. They kind of only have the same guys that they've had the whole time. I think Sean needed a little bit of a change up in scenery if he was going to be able to beat Merab. I don't think he has had it. I do not believe that Sean, perhaps he does find the shot and put Merab down. Merab has been, dropped before, and there has been guys that have put him down, and he's had to come back with that glass chin of his. But I don't think Sean's going to be able to find it. I think he's going to get a little bit gassed with the wrestling, and I think Merab's just going to do exactly what he did the first time, and it's going to be still Bantamweight champion of the world. Now we're going to move on to the co-main event of the evening. Juliana Pena versus Kayla Harrison. I don't know how you don't pick Kayla Harrison here. She is going to be the new Bantamweight champion of the world. Juliana Pena arguably is a fraud. I don't think she beat Raquel Pennington. I thought she lost that fight. Again, gets re-fraud checked by the Amanda Nunes in the second fight. She got a fluke win on Amanda in the first fight. We all know Amanda Nunes was recovering from COVID. She was very, very, very sick, almost hospitalized, and she came back. The choke wasn't even locked in. She tapped. I don't believe that has any indicator of how Juliana Pena is on the ground. I think it's dog shit. And the fight before that was Sarah McMahon. How do you go from losing by guillotine to Jermaine Durandamy, a striker, her first submission ever, by the way, and meanwhile you choke out Sarah McMahon and they're like, ooh, title shot. That's how dog shit the Bantamweight division is. That's how terrible Juliana Pena is. And we're going with Kayla Harrison to absolutely mop her up by any means necessary. I think Kayla Harrison gets a finish and becomes the new Bantamweight champion of the world. This girl is absolutely insane. Coconut Creek, Florida has another champion that's just going to absolutely maul through girls. Yeah, she's a little bit ridiculous. American top team. Just too good and too powerful for Juliana Pena to even do anything about. This will not stay standing. This will go to the ground, and Juliana will be on her back. Absolutely confused. Probably will lose 50-42, or she will lose via knockout or submission. Now we're going to move on next on the main card. Kelvin Gastelum versus Joe Bodybags Pyfer. We're going with Joe Pyfer to probably knock out Kelvin Gastelum. Now, his striking is so much more significant than Kelvin Gastelum. Kelvin Gastelum's been in the game for a long time. Came off of, what's it called? Ultimate Fighter, fought Uriah Hall to a split decision afterwards, winning the Ultimate Fighter finale of Season 17. Calvin has a big problem with weight. He has a problem with eating too much. He has a problem with not staying on diet. If he went to 170 and Calvin actually settled in and properly dieted and did everything that he should, Kelvin Gastelum could realistically be champ at 170. He really could be. He has all of the makings of a championship athlete. He really does. At 185, he's too small, he's too shit, and he lacks a lot of power. Joe Pyfer hits like a truck. Put out Marc-Andre Barriel face first. Granted, he did lose to Jack Hermanson, but Jack Hermanson took him to deep waters, did not allow Joe to get off that early offensive that he likes to get when he gets the knockout or the finish. Joe does not like being in that octagon for a long time if he doesn't have to be. Calvin is similar. He likes to get out of there real quick to go to get his fucking tacos. Joe Pyfer's going to put him out. Realistically, Calvin just doesn't have the striking defense to deal with Joe Pyfer. Pyfer's a lot bigger. Pyfer's stature is just significantly over Calvin Gastelum, and Calvin's going to be at a major power disadvantage coming into this fight. Give me Joe Pyfer by knockout, and it's going to be very quick. Under 1.5 rounds is probably where you're sitting. I'm sure the over-under will be 2.5. Just trust me on this. It's probably not going that long. Pyfer's just way too big, and it's going to be, it's going to be a bad one, I think. Next on the main card, you have Mario Bautista versus Patchy Mix. You have to pick the side of Mario Bautista. Magomedov, split decision. Super close fight. Dude, he's fighting kind of bums. His best win is Haufo and Stotts is kind of shit. Stotts didn't really have a whole lot of good fights before him. You know what I mean? Like, he just didn't. He's fighting guys in Bellator and PFL that are they lack the type of skill and the type of, we're just going to the other scene there. He lacks the type of skill and the type of discipline that you need, realistically. It's just, Patchy's fighting guys that are really fighting bums. Like, Bellator is just, the level of skill is just, when you look at the level of Bellator skill compared to the level of UFC skill, there is such a drastic gap in the knowledge, in the MMA, in the striking, in everything. There's such a massive gap. And excuse me. Usually for guys like this, I'm going to take a sip of water real quick. My throat is killing me. Jesus. He is out of Jackson Wink. I don't think it matters. It's too big of a gap. The guys that come from Bellator come into the UFC, they usually lose their first fight. The reason why, they realize very quickly that this is not the same. This is like guys coming from college basketball and going to the NBA. This is not the same level. You are not at the same level. If Patchy wins this fight, by God, I am wrong and I am terrible at what I am talking about, right? Mario Bautista arguably lost to Jose Aldo. I agree. A bit of a problem with Corey Sandhagen on the ground. Just didn't deal very well with it. But Damon Blackshear, unanimous decision. Dealt with the wrestling perfect. Patchy Mix is going to be trying to do the same thing, trying to force a submission on Mario Bautista, who has never been submitted before other than an armbar by Corey Sandhagen in round 1 in, early 2019? Give me Mario Bautista as an underdog all day. They have so much better competition in the MMA lab than Jackson Wink could even fucking dream of, okay? And when you're looking at his other... where is it here? Give me 1 second. WNY. They don't have high-level grapplers. They don't have high-level strikers. They just don't. The coaches are, yes, Diego Sanchez, not bad. Carlos Condit, beautiful. Bubba McDaniel, okay, bro. Not fucking bad. John Bones Jones, okay. Just because you train with John doesn't mean shit. Mario Bautista, I believe, is better in the grappling, or not better in the grappling, excuse me, better at the takedown defense, at least now in his career. He's better with the striking. He's improved significantly, grappled and just held Jose Aldo against the wall for a split decision. Give me Bautista all day. Now we're going to move on next on the main card to the opener of the night, which is Vicente Luque versus Kevin Trailblazer Holland. We're going with Kevin Holland by knockout. Vicente Luque could realistically get a submission on Kevin Holland, but if you're not getting submitted by Gunnar Nelson, you're not getting submitted by... Well, Renier de Ritter did. I believe, what was that in the first round? Rear naked choke. If you're not getting submitted by Gunnar Nelson, he did make a huge mistake against Renier de Ritter. I don't think Vicente is going to catch you. Vicente is really good, but it's more of a... He kind of falls you into a Darce choke or an Anaconda choke, and I don't think Kevin's ever been submitted by Darce. I think he's... Oh, I guess against Hamzat, yeah, but that was a little bit... that's a little bit different. He has been submitted by... where is it here? It was rear naked choke. I thought he had another... second rear naked choke by Brendan Allen. Kevin Holland is more of a name. So the side of Vicente Luque plus 3.5, if you're on the betting side, probably a good pick. It's just with Vicente's brain bleed, all the time off before that RDA fight, it's just, you know what I mean? Like, it's a little bit worrisome. You worry for the guy. He's 33 years of age, had a really bad injury, and Kevin Holland hits like a fucking truck. 81 inches of reach, going to be keeping Vicente on the outside, forcing him to shoot in deep, maybe force some exchanges that he's not too comfortable with, and Kevin might clip him. He's got that elasticity. He's very, very long. He deals well against guys like this that try and force shit on him. It doesn't usually work. He usually is able to counter a takedown and, just to kind of abuse guys that try to force their game plan. Michael Venom Page did well. Roman Dolidze did well. Just kind of allowed Kevin Holland to come to him. And he got a win off of it. Kevin Holland's not super crazy, but if he really locked in, he could be fucking insane. But I do think Kevin Holland does end up beating Vicente Luque in a possibly long decision, but I do believe knockout late is a little bit more likely than Vicente winning a decision. Again, but plus 3.5 Luque isn't a bad pick if you're looking at the lines. Yeah, just remember that he did have a little bit of a problem with that knockout stuff. Joaquin Buckley kind of put his ass out too in that second round. He just kind of wilted apart and just kind of gave up. Keep that in mind. Next, we're going to start off with the prelims, starting off with the end of the prelim. Nah, you know what? We started with the main card. Let's just start from the prelim up. And we'll just do it that way. That way, yeah, it just feels a little bit better that way. That way we don't have to end with the start of the evening, you know what I mean? We're going to just start off with the start of the prelims and just go to the end of the prelims now. Let's get right into it. Markel Medros versus Mark Choinsky. Or you know what? No, we will do it bottom down. Fuck, God, I'm losing my mind here. Don't worry about it, okay? Some people don't want to watch the good stuff first and just skip the rest of the stuff. I get it. Bruno Silva versus Joshua Van. If you pick Bruno Silva, you're dog shit. But Joshua Van most likely is going to knock out Bruno Silva. He was getting tagged apart by Manel Cap. Granted, he did get eye poked about 50 times. Manel Cap did win off of an eye poke as well. Did drop him with it technically, and just ate a body kick and just kind of wilted away against the cage. Cody Durden knockout, was getting his ass whooped right before Cody Durden just kind of slipped right into that uppercut and just got dropped and put out. I think in this situation, Joshua Van's just so good. 23 years of age, probably one of the best prospects inside the UFC at this point. Been literally on the fucking on an absolute roll. Except for the Charles Johnson knockout, but he did win the first 2 rounds of that fight before he got put out. Johnson just kind of ran at him and took him down, or took him down with a punch, and just put his ass out. But Bruno Silva is just not that guy. 35 years of age. Fought some decent opposition, but you losing to David Dovrak and Tayyar Ulanbekov, you give me a lot of worries when it comes to guys that can mix it up well. You give me a lot of worry when it comes to guys that aren't just one-dimensional and that you can abuse. Joshua Van's not a guy that you can abuse. He's just so good everywhere that you fucking worry. You really do worry because his takedown defense is good. His jiu-jitsu is really good. He can shrimp out, post on a hip, get up pretty fucking quick. Silva's going to have to be forcing him on the ground. Van's not going to sit there. He will explode. He will continue to push you against the cage. He will continue to use his cardio as his main weapon and beat the shit out of you. Give me Joshua Van by decision/knockout at whatever plus money it should be. Next on the prelims, Azamat Murzakanov versus Brennison Ribeiro. Murzakanov should be able to drop Ribeiro in the first round and put his lights out. Granted, Ribeiro is one of those guys that all it takes is one really, really, really good strike, and he'll have you crumbling down to the ground, begging for mercy. He does have 10 inches of reach over Azamat Bekoyev. When it comes to 10 inches of reach, I do believe the guys have 71% chance or higher of winning the bout. As a plus 400 underdog, if you're looking at the statistics and you're looking at realistic statistics, you have to put a little bit of money on Brennison Ribeiro for the pick. You do. The pick is Azamat Murzakanov, but you cannot be confident with Ribeiro being so long and so powerful that if we get into these large exchanges, you don't have Ribeiro putting his lights out very quickly and putting him out cold. He is 5 inches the higher fighter in terms of height. He is absolutely massive. He is towering over Azamat Murzakanov. Murzakanov does hit like a fucking truck, though, so you do have to be very, very wary of the fact that he's just probably one of the hardest hitting light heavyweights we have right now in the UFC, but Ribeiro does have the exact frame to put his lights out with a perfect punch at the very end of it and just punching through him. You know what I mean? Give me Murzakanov to win, but possibly picking the under 1.5 rounds if we're looking at betting. I don't think these guys are getting past round 1, but I would still bet on the fact that Ribeiro may be able to get a knockout. at least early on. Next on the prelims, we have Sergey Spivak versus Waldo Cortez Acosta. I'm going with Sergey. Sergey is just way too good on the ground for Waldo. It feels like in this situation, this is going to be one of those situations where you have a guy get forced up against the cage and slowly dragged down to the ground, where he just kind of gets abused and just put to his wits, because Waldo's going to really have to utilize his cardio in this fight. Sergey's going to try and force him against the cage, force some takedowns, try and just get Waldo on his ass to where he has to work really, really heavy to try and get back up. Waldo comes in really, really heavy all the time, comes in almost at the max, doesn't exactly have the cardio that you would want for heavyweight for 3 rounds. He tries to put guys out early, tries to see what he can do, and tries to not go the distance. Now, granted, he does go the distance quite often. The guys that he's going the distance against are not exactly the fucking crep of the crop. You have Rebels to Spain, dog shit Can, Andrei Arlovsky. Dude, look at the age of Arlovsky when he fought him. 44, this dude still went to a decision. What the fuck are we doing? Lucas Bresky knocked him out. Very good. Chase Sherman, just very durable. Jared Vandar, just durable. Just doesn't... Dude, he's okay. I think Sergey is just so good on the ground that when it comes to the submission grappling, when it comes to mixing it up, when it comes to giving guys problems, if you're choking out Derek Lewis, a guy who's just a pure power puncher, Waldo is similar. He just tries to force some big exchanges, he doesn't really seem like he mixes it up. He got takedowns against Rebels to Spain, but, I mean, we can tell why. He's just a pure karate guy. Give me Sergey Spivak to win, probably inside distance, either via submission or knockout. Most likely submission. Let's get Spivak on that win train, and let's get him closer to that UFC gold. Since he's sitting at number 10, fuck Waldo Cortez Acosta. I hate Acosta so much. I hate that fucking... What is he, Dominican? I hate that fucking Dominican guy. I hate him so much, dude. I don't know why. He has that fucking smugness about him, and he's just waiting to get knocked out. He's just fucking waiting, trust me. Next on the prelims, Chaos Williams versus Andreas Gustafsson. Gustafsson was supposed to fight, I believe, last week or the week before against Jeremiah Wells and Trevin Giles. It was last week. Bout got pushed off. Trevin Giles clearly having a bit of an issue, having an injury. Now Chaos Williams steps up to fight the UFC newcomer who's going to have the UFC debut spark or a little thing on his pants. Good for him. Yeah, I think Chaos Williams has this pretty easy. I think it's going to be a knockout. You're going to get into these big exchanges with Chaos, who's just longer, got bigger power. It seems like Gustafsson is just, begging in to get into these big punching exchanges. And Chaos is not a guy that fucks around. He is wanting to get into those exchanges. He wants you to just swing because he's just waiting for that perfect shot to just put your lights out. And Chaos Williams is exactly the type of guy that I'm looking for here. He is the guy that is just going to absolutely run over Andreas Gustafsson. Pat Pitlick probably would have been the guy to do it, but just couldn't get his striking off early. Andreas just started, mauling him, putting it together, and just kind of wilting him away. Chaos Williams does not wilt. He is not a guy that gives up. He is a guy that wants to just absolutely get into it and get down and dirty. I like Chaos Williams a lot. Give me him to win by knockout against Andreas Gustafsson, who makes his UFC debut and loses in Newark. I just don't think he has what it takes to be in the UFC realistic. Pat Pitlick, dude, he puts out Pat Pitlick. You're in 170, bro. You're in danger at 170. These guys hit like fucking trucks. If Andreas Gustafsson can take real shots and real punishment, then I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. This is the fight that will make the statement for me. I just feel like Chaos Williams is a little bit stronger, a little bit more powerful, a little bit better in the boxing, a little bit more slick. He does leave his hands down sometimes, a little bit later in the fight, does get clipped sometimes. But Gustafsson, we haven't really seen super late. We haven't seen him been able to put together too much in the later rounds. So give me Chaos Williams to put it together and put him out whenever he feels fit. Next on the prelims are Ariane Lipski da Silva versus Kong Wang. Give me Kong Wang to win by decision. It just seems like Lipski is just begging to get out of the UFC at this point. She's kind of on a downfall. Casey O'Neill being her best win isn't too bad. Melissa Gatto split decision. Okay, JJ Aldrich, whatever. You just have Kong Wang, who's just a huge prospect. She's a little bit too heavy on the price for me to bet this fight. I don't think I'm going to be touching it whatsoever. Maybe Kong Wang 3.5. But after getting knocked out by Gabriela Fernandez and just getting submitted immediately after, she got back, tried to get back up. Yikes. It's just... anything can happen. This is MMA. This is real. Lipski isn't no bitch. She actually is good. She's decent on the ground. She has decent strikes. It's just, is she really going to be able to put it together against Kong Wang, who just seems like she's just got everything going for her, literally everything. Been training MMA for a long time, coming into the UFC just now with only 8 fights at 33 years of age. Just literally got everything behind her, the whole of China behind her. You gotta give me Kong Wang just to put it together. Ariane Lipski's not bad, but Kong Wang's just probably a little bit better. Next on the prelims, Ju Sang Yu versus Jeka Sergi. Now. Ju is literally a guy that's just fucking undefeated amateur, undefeated professional mixed martial arts career, but fighting in the ZFN, okay, fighting guys that, in my opinion, aren't that good. Honestly, Binji, didn't Binji just lose to this? Yeah, he lost the other day too. Like, he's losing to guys that are kind of shit. All of these guys are losing to guys that are kind of shit. Bubba Jenkins? This guy lost to Bubba Jenkins? Are you serious right now? Are we really talking about the same thing right now? Oh my god, dude. Anyway, I'm going to go with Jeka Sergi. The Indonesian fighter who was able to knock out Lucas Alexander. He is from the road to UFC. He has very explosive power, very, very crazy in the octagon. This guy almost never goes the distance. I think against Ju Sang Yu, these guys are not going the distance. It feels like in this situation, I got to pick Jeka. Got the UFC experience, got the weight of Indonesia behind him. I don't know too much about Ju. I know he's out of South Korea, fighting out of the South Korean, was it the Korean Zombie promotion, I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken. The Z Fight Night. I like Jeka here a little bit more. It just, in my opinion, I know more about him. I've seen him very explosive, very powerful, very good on the ground as well. Can throw up arm bars and stuff. Doesn't exactly have the best of jiu-jitsu, but also Ju Sang Yu doesn't either. He's more of a striker, more, just tries to beat guys down standing. And I think Jeka is the perfect guy for that. I think this fight should be a little bit closer on the odds. I think Jeka should be a little bit more love on the side of him. I do understand why it is the way it is, but Ju making his UFC debut under the lights in Newark, New Jersey, you have those guys screaming at you, and you have Jeka who's already been feeding into it, been in that octagon, been under those lights, been under that pressure. Give me Jeka to get him by knockout. Next on the prelims, Quillian Salkild versus Yanel Ashmuz. We're going Quillian Salkild to just put it together against Yanel. Yanel's good. Did beat Chris Duncan, lost to Chris Duncan, excuse me, and beat Trevor Peek. Trevor Peek gassed out. He arguably won that first round. Could have put Yanel Ashmuz fucking down, probably. It did hurt him a little bit as well. Yanel does have a good win against Sam Patterson. Sam Patterson's more of a jiu-jitsu guy, tries to take guys down instead of using his striking. Who did he put down recently, though? Put down Danny Barlow, right? Yeah. Barlow, left-handed god, thought he was going to be able to fucking get it done. No, sir. Get put out, bitch. I was very happy about that fight, too. I was fucking losing my mind. Anyway, Quillian Salkild, Australian prospect, absolutely devastating in the hands. Just one of the nasty strikers I've ever seen at 155. He did put out Anshul Jubli in the first 15 seconds or whatever it was. Did have a long fight against Gage Young, but did have a decisive victory in that fight. I just feel like this guy's got everything. He's got everything going for him. He's so good on the ground. He's so good with his hands. He's calm, collected when he's in that octagon. He don't give a shit. Never looks worried. Never looks tired. Even when he loses a round, he doesn't care. He is ready to learn from his coaches. He's ready to pick up the information. He's ready to go out there and put it together for the next round. Give me Quillian Salkild to win by whatever. Ashmus just doesn't have... He's just not on the level. He's not on the same level. Quillian Salkild at a minus 500 is a little bit steep, but I do believe it is right. I think he gets it done. I think he gets it done maybe inside distance, but more looking at the side of decision. The striking is just so much better than Yanel Ashmuz. You can't really ask for more. And he never gasses out. Now, we're going to go down to the start of the prelims. Hope you guys did enjoy this. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you have not already. This has been the predictions and breakdowns, but we do have one more. Markel Medros versus Mark Choinsky. We're going Medros. Choinsky making this on short notice. Just fought at APFC. Has to fight Markel Medros after getting that call up. He's never going to deny it. Medros is bigger. He's a bit stronger. Did arguably lose to Austin Hubbard. I don't think this is going to be by knockout. I think Medros is just going to have a long fight with Mark Choinsky. But I do think Choinsky has a bit of a issue coming up against Medeiros. He did just cut weight 2 months ago. So did Medeiros, but, you know, it's different. He has the PI. Mark Choinsky doesn't. He's doing it out of his own camp. Markel Medeiros has the UFC PI completely, has all of his food going for him and stuff. He's going to have a better cut. Mark's going to have a bit of a rough one. And I think Medeiros is going to come in a bit bigger, a bit stronger. They are similar when it comes to how they fight. Choinsky tries to force his takedowns, tries to force the grappling after setting up some strikes. And Medeiros tries to force the stand-up, tries to force guys away from the grappling and tries to hurt them to the point where they have to try and stand and bang. Give me Medeiros by decision. It just seems like he's going to be able to stand with Mark. He's not going to get taken down. Hubbard did get some successful takedowns. It seems like Mark's almost the perfect guy to be fighting Medeiros to get a little bit of a fraud check and see if he can get it done. I think he's going to be able to stop Mark at least in the second and third round. First round might go to Mark Choinsky. I think he's going to be able to stop it later on. I think he's going to learn from his mistakes. I think he's going to be able to put it together in the later rounds and just win rounds 2 and 3 on the scorecards and just get somewhat of a decisive victory. It's just what it feels like to me. I'm not 100% sure about this one on the end of the prelims, or the start of the prelims, excuse me. But I do know that this fight night is going to be absolutely epic. I do know it has a ton of amazing fights that are going to end with some absolute poppers. There's going to be some highlights, that some videos of me screaming, I'm sure, that I'm going to be posting. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. Make sure to drop a like. I talk too fast. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you have not already. I'll be talking to you guys all later. Peace.